It's an industry that employs around 70,000 people and generates over £3.5 billion per year in the UK. Yet times are tough. In the last year, around 100 Asian restaurants across the capital have shut up shop for good. But their disappearance from the high street has nothing to do with falling profits. The fact is, they simply can't find the staff.
I'm aware of a lot of restaurants that have closed down. The Asian restaurant industry is going through turbulent times. We're not getting good quality chefs.
Some restaurants have closed down already in the suburban areas, but there will be a bigger impact on a major restaurant sector if we cannot acquire these chefs.
To prevent further closures, the government think they have come up with a solution: homegrown talent.
I'm trying to get some good chilies. I found this one, which is very nice, good colour going the way through. If you compare it to like this one, it's dried out a bit. It's probably more spicy than this one. I didn't really know that much about fruit or veg. I've slowly been learning how they're supposed to look, feel, if they're supposed to be hard, whether they're ripe.
18-year-old Floyd may have only recently discovered what chili is, but he is being hailed as the saviour of the UK's Asian restaurant industry. He's one of a few dozen British-born teenagers to sign up to Curry College.
We've created 5 centres of excellence across England, which are basically colleges that link up with employers in Asian and Oriental restaurants.
On an apprenticeship, the student will study some literacy and numeracy skills. They will get a food safety qualification, so they'll get all the skills they need to be a fully employed chef.
Today is a big one for Floyd. His culinary skills are to be judged by one of the UK's top restaurateurs.
Can you handle it? Can you handle the pressure in a kitchen like this?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about it, but a little bit nervous.
So tell me, what are you cooking?
Today I'm cooking matar paneer, ingredients being matar being paneer, and it's got green pea in it. We're using onion masala, which is basically a basic Indian gravy, but it takes about 2 hours to cook.
Until recently, Floyd's presence in this kitchen would have been unthinkable. Traditionally, many Asian restaurants have relied on highly trained but cheap labour from abroad to fill vacancies, but it's an option that's recently been banned.
The border agency has changed its entry criteria, and a traditional market of where restaurants would get chefs from has now been closed down.
Now chefs can only be recruited from India for posts paying over £28,000 a year. That's almost double the average wage of a commie chef, and one most restaurants are unable to afford.
And that actually restricts restaurant owners from being able to hire people from outside of the EU. And that restriction's creating an even bigger skill shortage.
The government is so confident that teenagers like Floyd can halt the skills crisis that they're investing around £2 million into training them. Here at the University of West London, trainees are taught everything from the artistry of preparing naan breads to cooking chicken tikka, and the results can be delicious.
Very tasty, it's not overcooked, you got all the flavours. I think you can be a wok chef tomorrow.
My culinary education began at my mother's hip when I was just 5 in my family kitchen. It's been a lifetime of gathering knowledge and sharing wisdom. So I wonder how feasible it is to expect these young British students to learn the artistry of Asian cooking in just 6 weeks.
One of the big misconceptions from graduates is that they have learned everything they need to, and as soon as they get their first job, they expect to cook for customers. It's couldn't be further from the truth.
Michelin-starred Alfred Prasad is executive chef at Tamarind of Mayfair, one of the UK's most esteemed Indian restaurants, but it took him years of training to get here.
My training began by joining hotel school, which is a 3-year diploma program. Following that, I was taken on as a 2-year executive trainee. And of course, nothing that I cooked went to customers over those 2 years.
In fact, it's standard practice at high-end eateries for Asian chefs to train for at least 4 years before cooking for paying customers. Will shortening this training result in lower standards?
I'm afraid there's a huge danger that the skill set will die. They are expecting us to train people with magic. And it is not going to, there is no such thing as a magic. People take time to learn.
With 2 prestigious West End restaurants under his control, Rajesh is one of the UK's most successful restaurateurs. He helped pioneer the government's initiative to get British-born talent into Asian kitchens, but so far, interest in the scheme has been poor.
At this moment in time, there are only 50 candidates. This is a very small number to start with. I think the whole industry finds it very difficult to attract youngsters to come into this industry.
But even when restaurants do convince trainees to sign up, the dropout rate is astonishingly high.
We took on 20 candidates to begin with, out of which we had at least 40 or 50% dropouts in the first 3 to 4 months.
Most are put off by the tough work and the long hours. Out of 4 trainees to join the course here at Imley when it initially started, Floyd is the only one left.
Most days I'll wake up 6 a.m. and I won't get back home till 12:30 in the morning. A lot of people have dropped out of the course because work is hard and they can't handle it, or maybe it's because of language barriers. It's quite difficult to understand it because they all speak a different Indian language. So if I learn one word from one of them and then I say it to another one, he's like, "What do you mean? What does this mean?" I'm like, "What?"
But Rajesh believes these issues are just teething problems and that there is a future for British-born chefs in Indian restaurants. He has signed up 8 apprentices, one of whom is Floyd.
We have 8 apprenticeship training scheme working within the company, and it is a lengthy process, but I guess there is no other choice. We are putting a lot of effort, time, and cost a lot of money, energy, and a commitment and a training scheme, which we hope eventually will pay off.
After several hours cooking, the moment of truth, we get to taste and judge Floyd's culinary skills.
You know, it looks really good.
It does, it looks beautifully presented.
Interesting.
It's delicious.
Really, it's got a tangy
Very good.
texture. It's great texture, nice flavors. Very, very tasty.
well done, congratulations, very good.
Keep on doing it. Brilliant job.
Success. Rajesh is so impressed with Floyd, he'll now be able to cook for paying customers.
Well, if all trainees had the same enthusiasm and gumption as Floyd, then the scheme to get British-born chefs working in Asian restaurants could be a real success. Let's just hope that they can be trained up fast enough to stop more restaurants from closing down.